The following show is brought to you by Capital Financial and Insurance. Coming up on the Financial Safari, Coach Pete sits down with financial advisor John Stillman about a case study that could impact your retirement planning. Followed by Coach Pete talks tax tips with CPA and certified tax coach Jason Bailey. And later, Coach Pete hits the streets on Pete on the Street.
Hi, this is Coach Pete.
And hello, I'm Peter Rashan.
And if you've got questions about how to safely and properly allocate your investments, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Financial Safari.
Broadcasting from coast to coast, it's the Financial Safari with your host, Coach Pete D'Arruda. Coach Pete and his guests are some of the nation's top financial professionals. They make it their mission to guide investors through the treacherous jungle of the financial world, showing them how to grow, keep, and leave their money for their loved ones. Coach Pete is a frequent contributor to Fox Business Network, CNBC, The Wall Street Journal, and many other news outlets. They come to Coach Pete for their answers, and now so can you. So stick around and find out how to make it through the jungle of the financial world on the Financial Safari.
Welcome back to the Financial Safari. I'm Walter Storholt alongside Coach Pete D'Arruda, and it's now time to take another look into that financial world. And you know what, Coach? A good goal for a solid portfolio should, of course, be to have all three qualities of money representative, those qualities being growth, safety, and liquidity. It's possible to have all of those in your portfolio, but can't have all three in one investment, can you?
No, Walt, I call this a financial triangle because, a triangle has three sides. And to me, the base, the bottom of the triangle is our safety. I mean, without the bottom, you can't have the other two sides of a triangle. And the safety keeps the triangle from moving, keeps it from falling apart, keeps it from rolling off the table. And so you have to have that safe money built up first before you take some risk, okay? We also need some liquid money. I like to look at it as safe, liquid, and risk, those three sides of the triangle as well. And safety doesn't have to be boring. There are some safe particular products out there designed for retirement, and we look at them as the lifetime income strategy of safety. Your money's not going away. Matter of fact, it's growing each year by up to 7% per year if you use something called an income rider. And again, the income rider's sole purpose is to grow your money until you need it for a lifetime income. It's not for a lump sum in the future, because once you get a lump sum, you have to decide where to put it again. And you can outlive your money if you don't have an income plan in place. So you must have an income plan. And then we use some dividend reinvested strategies. If we take risk, we can minimize risk in the stock market by how we pick our stocks and how we pick our bonds and how we ignore some mutual funds. A lot of people run right into mutual funds because they hear all the advertisements. But recent studies have shown mutual funds aren't as attractive as they really are made out to be, especially when you factor in the fees, risk, and commissions coming out of them. So again, having a planner who understands your needs first. And if you don't even understand your needs, though, it's tough to put a plan together. If you envision your retirement being one of worry and not of knowing if you have enough money to even go to the restaurant every month, not to mention go on vacation, then that is not a good vision for retirement. Retirement should be money coming in each month to be able to do fun things. And then if you have extra money that you don't depend on your lifestyle for, then we put that at risk, but we balance the risk and we do non-correlated assets inside there. In other words, when we're taking risks, there's all different parts of the risk cycle. And if one side of the risk spectrum is going down, another side of the risk spectrum may be going up. Think of commodities versus stocks. A lot of times commodities, gold, silver, corn, we hear about corn commodities and all that. They may be going up and the market may be going down, or vice versa. So you need to spread your risk out. We call that diversification and asset allocation. It doesn't mean buying a whole bunch of mutual funds, because a lot of times all the mutual funds have is the same stocks in them. So getting an advisor who understands your needs and who is an income planning specialist is vitally important if you're 55 or older these days.
Yeah, every side of that retirement triangle, very important to make sure that it's represented accurately and appropriately within your plan and designed and tailored for your specific situation. You can get a customized plan by contacting your local trusted advisor, which can be found on financialsafari.com. Again, that's financialsafari.com. Stay tuned. There's more Financial Safari coming up with Coach Pete in just a moment.
Coach, it seems like one of the mistakes that we see people make a lot before they've come to meet with us is not really taking into account what happens to the spouse left behind when one spouse dies. What does that look like?
Yeah, John, and that's a difficult situation because people are faced with the dilemma of should they take a whole bunch of income right now when both spouses are here, but penalize the spouse that's left behind? Or should they put some money aside to make up for those gaps? Here's what I'm talking about. We've got a case study here. Husband is 67, wife is 65. So they're about the same age. The income right now, they're obviously in retirement. Social Security is $2,700, of which $1,800 is for husband and $900 is wife. We've got pension of $1,000 a month. Now, the problem with the pension is the husband selected something called a 50% survivor instead of opting to get life insurance or whatever else. That's another problem we'll talk about in a different Coffee with Coach. But a 50% survivor means when the husband passes away, the wife doesn't get the $1,000 checks anymore. She gets $500. And when husband passes away, wife doesn't get $2,700 in total Social Security anymore. She gets the higher of the two. Remember, the husband was making $1,800. Wife is only making $900 in Social Security. So the income gap when Mr. passes away is $1,400 a month. Now, you know what we call that? We call that changing zip codes. In other words, wife can't stay in the house anymore she's in many times. She has to move into a lower neighborhood many times.
Well, so probably the reason they set it up that way was to maximize income now, but as you can see, that can actually hurt you down the road.
Yeah, and we never know when tomorrow's going to come. It could happen tomorrow. One of them could pass away. Then they're in trouble. So what we need to do is we need to find out ways to replace the income. Now, I use life expectancy tables because I never want to tell someone they're going to pass away tomorrow. We don't know, though, do we? So life expectancy on a husband is about 13 years. So we solve for income in 13 years. What do we have to put away today in a time capsule account that will give the wife at least $1,400 a month to replace that income she's going to lose if the husband passes away in 13 years. As you see on the screen, that number is $94,917. Now keep in mind, they have a total portfolio of $500,000. So they only have to peel off about $100,000 of that, put into a time capsule account, which will guarantee the wife $1,400 a month each and every year until she passes away at that time.
Let's suppose, though, that he dies before that 13 years is up. That money hasn't had time to grow to the point that it allows her to have that income replacement. How do you account for that?
We call that seasoning. Well, the good thing is they have a total portfolio of $500,000. She'll have $400-some thousand to spend to get her to that age of when that $1,400 kicks in. Or we leave $400,000 in the growth type account because we're only peeling off $100,000. Who knows what could happen there? It could go up. It could go down too, though.
Sure.
So the ultimate situation here, I think, for Mr., we're assuming in this case he could not qualify for life insurance, would be to at least get a life insurance policy in place too, so that if he passes away, no matter when, it self-completes, Sean, and gives her a lifetime of tax-free income. So there are a lot of different options here, and the most important thing is that you meet with a local advisor and get that case study customized to your situation. John, I really enjoy these Coffee with Coaches.
Always a pleasure.
Until next week, Coffee with Coach.
Still to come on the Financial Safari. Your local trusted advisor helps explain what the rule of 4% is and how it could impact your retirement planning. And later, Coach Pete spends some time with CPA and certified tax coach Jason Bailey to give you some proactive tax planning tips. And now, Coach Pete has a special offer just for you.
So, as we all know, this is a confusing world we live in, and the financial world is confusing as well. But if you call in the next 30 minutes and mention that you heard this offer on the TV show, we'll put together for you a customized lifetime income report. We'll also do a forensic fee analysis, helping you look at where you are right now and making sure you're on the right path to get you to that retirement of less worry and more income. Folks, we'll also do a tax analysis using a CPA that we work with at our company to make sure that you're not overpaying on taxes. Again, the more money you keep in your pocket, the more money you'll have in retirement. All these things and more, as well as a copy of my new book, 7 Financial Baby Steps, are all yours when you give that number a call and come in for your no-cost financial consultation. Look forward to seeing you soon. How can I find out if fees are being taken out of my retirement nest egg? This is a question many people ask, many people are worried about, because any fee that comes out is less that grows for you. Many times it doesn't matter to folks if they're just saving away for retirement. But once you get close to retirement, every single penny matters. And if the penny's just coming in and going right back out in the form of a fee you don't know about, that's a waste of money. Have you ever gone to a horse race and watched the horses go around the track? You always look at the jockeys. What if you went to a horse race and there was one jockey that weighed 200 pounds more than the others? Would you bet on that horse? If you could bet on it finishing last, that'd probably be a better bet than it finishing first. If you have a lot of fees coming out of your financial portfolio, it's just like that horse with a big jockey. It's going slower than it should. It's building slower than it should, if building at all. So you have to be very careful, especially if you have a 401k. Many 401ks can have a lot of hidden fees existing in there, so you need to identify them. The question most people have is, how can I find out if I'm paying too much in fees? You need to have a forensic financial analysis done. Now, forensics has been done in the criminal world forever, and it's going back and looking at what's going on in your portfolio. Forensic financial analysis can help you identify hidden fees, expenses, commissions that are coming out of your account, your 401ks, 403bs, even your TSPs, making sure that every single penny you have is working for you. So you have to ask yourself, whose retirement are you really funding, yours or your broker's? And if you're putting money aside for your children or grandchildren, whose college education are you really funding, your children's or your broker's children? So it's vitally important that you have a forensic financial analysis done and you identify these hidden fees, expenses, and commissions. Then you'll have peace of mind to get you to and through retirement. Hey folks, so glad you're able to visit with us today on the Financial Safari. For more information on how to partner with us to build your very own retirement income plan, as well as get a copy of my newest book, one chapter in it, 7 Financial Baby Steps, visit us right now online at financialsafari.com. See you soon.
It is now time for Pete on the Street.
Pete on the street.
Let's see what this person has to say.
Pete on the street.
Peter Rashan here with another edition of Pete on the Street, and I'm here with Patricia. And Patricia, you are retired, and what is your idea of fun in retirement? What's fun and entertaining to you?
Well, we've been doing a lot of traveling, which we really enjoy, and we like just being able to just lounge around or go shopping or go out with friends. You know, we don't have to set the clock in the morning, and it's just not having to worry about we have to be at work today or, you know, just having a good time. It's been great.
All right. Well, of course, you know about the stock market, and it's been a little volatile recently, but what are your general feelings, and what's your general understanding of how the stock market works?
Well, we haven't had good experiences with the stock market. We once were investing in it, and when we had to finally sell out because of financial situations, we lost a lot of money. And then we went about 8 years ago and got in a mutual fund, and it seems like every time we get in the market, it goes down. That fund has been down ever since we bought it. We've never had to pay any taxes on it because we haven't earned anything. It's worth about half or maybe less than half what we bought it for. And so we haven't had good experiences with it. So we've been finding, you know, other things like annuities and other things to get involved in.
When you are buying a mutual fund, do you own a stock?
Well, no. From what I understand, we don't even always know what we own because they invest in a lot of different companies and they probably change them. And since we found it easier just not to look at what this mutual fund's doing because it's too depressing. So we don't even know what it's invested in now. So no, it's not one individual stock.
Very right. Another edition of Pete on the Street.
Pete on the street.
for many years, financial experts have asked their clients to abide by the 4% rule. Can you explain to our audience what the 4% rule is and how important it is to know things like this?
Well, Coach Pete, that's accurate, that for years the 4% rule has been recommended. It just hasn't been in recent years. Recently, that 4% rule has been redefined lower and lower and lower. And so, no, this is not something that I follow with our clients. What the 4% rule says is that you should be able to generate a specific amount of cash flow from your portfolio. 4%. So in other words, if you have $1 million, you should be able to generate $40,000 a year of income. That doesn't seem like the amount of income that a person that's used to living $1 million lifestyle would be accustomed to. If you have $100,000 in your portfolio, you can only generate $4,000 a year of income. And actually, this has been redefined because of the volatility in the market in recent years. In fact, just recently, an investment news article came out with a study that showed that this was only 2.8%. So in other words, if you have $100,000, you should only be able to generate $2,800 a year for yourself. And when they looked at this, it still only had a 40% rate of success over the course of 30 years. So if I was to hop on a plane and the pilot said that we only had a 40% chance of reaching my destination, guess what we're doing? I'm getting off that plane. And essentially that's what people are doing with their retirement portfolio. They are taking this approach of this 4% distribution rate or 4% cash flow rate and taking the chance, about 60% chance, that they will not have the income that they need to last.
So if the 4% rule is not the ideal guidelines, what do you recommend for your clients and what can our viewers learn from this now?
Well, Coach Pete, the 4% rule had to do with investment assets. In other words, you could gain money or you could lose money. And this is problematic in and of itself because 4% of a number that fluctuates means you have different amounts of income if the market is up or down. Most people need relatively the same amount of money to pay their bills each and every month, regardless of whether the market has performed well or poorly. So the key to cash flow planning is to do it in a stable, secure, and certain manner. And there are tools available that allow you to get higher than that 4% cash flow because you remove the volatility from the underlying investment. And the investments are great for growing and accumulating money, but they're not so good at creating cash flow. So there are new tools and strategies available that can supercharge your cash flow rate for retirement while taking away some of the questions, the uncertainty, and the volatility. And that's how true cash flow planning works. And that's all part of the forensic financial analysis that we offer at Capital Financial Advisory Group, Coach, to you and your viewers. If your viewers call the number that they see on their screen, we offer that detailed forensic financial analysis where we will help them look at the risks they're exposed to, assess their taxes, assess their fees, and put together a customized lifetime income plan that can increase their cash flow and the probability that that cash flow will last for as long as they need it to.
And as always, we really appreciate your answers here on the show. And if you're watching now and you're wondering what you can really be doing to get proper balance for your portfolio, call the number on your screen. You can meet with your local trusted advisor as soon as next week.
Talk to one of our local experts, and we have a special offer for you on today's show. Call in the next 30 minutes, and we're going to custom design for you an easy-to-understand financial review that will indicate if you're in need of a full-blown financial plan. There's no obligation or cost for this initial review for all callers who have at least $200,000 saved for retirement. If you meet those qualifications, here's what you can expect. First, we'll run a fee report to help you untangle what it's costing you to work with your current planner or advisor. We'll show you how to protect your investments and keep more of your money in your accounts. Next, we'll perform a tax analysis to show you how you could possibly be reducing your taxes and increase your cash flow. And finally, we'll create a customized lifetime income plan using proven strategies and techniques that could turbocharge your retirement income. In short, we'll take the guesswork out of financial planning for you. So, for all callers who call in the next 30 minutes, a comprehensive financial review that we're offering with no obligation. Just call the number below right now. Coming up on the Financial Safari, Coach Pete talks tax tips with CPA and certified tax coach Jason Bailey. And a special message from Coach Pete.
And it's time again for Coffee with Coach, and we're with one of our favorite guests. He's certified tax coach and a CPA, Jason Bailey. Jason, welcome in.
Thanks for having me, Coach.
Yeah, I mean, it's a complex world out there, and too many people don't know what to do, Jason. I think if they knew what to do, or if they knew how easy it was, they would do it. I mean, especially when it's related to tax code.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the benefits? Now, you've seen a lot of people the last couple of years, since you became a certified tax coach, even more. But you've seen a lot of people who've come in and they weren't doing the right thing to be proactive on the tax code.
Right.
What are the benefits of working with a true tax coach?
Well, a couple of benefits to mention right off the bat are that you end up having peace of mind, that you know that your tax situation is maximized.
Okay.
Meaning you're taking advantage of everything you possibly can in the tax code that current year. I consult through a year-round basis with my clients to be able to make sure that they're accomplishing that. Another benefit is that in the initial sessions where we're developing strategy for the clients, we're really taking into an account of what they're trying to accomplish long-term, 5-7 years. One example I have is where someone, a client, husband and wife, business owners, have a couple kids, and they weren't saving for retirement like they wanted to. See, because they have an ambitious goal to retire before they were 55 or so.
Wow, that's a real good goal.
So that was figured into the tax plan. We figured a way for them to really accomplish an accelerated retirement plan, as well as they had some goals as far as funding their college.
Now, let me ask you this. Were there goals, written goals, or were they just up in their head?
No, they were written because what we end up doing is in the questionnaire and as far as the initial consultation, asking them, and this is something that they've been working towards, but they knew they weren't making up too much ground.
Okay, so written goals important, and you said one of the true benefits, they had peace of mind knowing that everything they were doing was the right way. But what's the real benefit of getting more money that you don't have to give to Uncle Sam each year?
Yeah, well, that's actually what happened, is that instead of giving it to the government now, they're funding their college funding, college and retirement.
So there's no more worry on the college education for the kids, plus extra money for their retirement instead of going out into the abyss we call the tax code.
Right. And then they had employees as well, and they wanted to find a way to give something back to their employees, and that's always a good way to retain employees, and so we added some fringe benefits as well.
Okay, so not only did they maximize their position by minimizing their tax payments and getting the tax code working for them instead of against them, they helped out their children and their employees.
Exactly.
Now, how'd that make their employees feel? Was the morale better at the company?
Oh yeah, and they ended up appreciating what the employer wanted to do for them.
You know, by doing that, they may be able to retire even earlier because employees are happy, and maybe one of the employees can buy the company from them, which would give them even more money for retirement. Folks, things like this are very important, and Jason, thanks again for visiting with us. Coffee with Coach.
Thank you.
What is a laddered income strategy? Laddered income strategy we call financial cruise control. It's about those dollars per year, DPY, making sure you get enough money coming in for the rest of your life. Now, how do you do this? The first thing you must do is identify where all your assets are right now and making sure to find some that you want in these financial cruise control type accounts. Now, financial cruise control is just looking at what you have right now and what you're going to need in the future. Because as you get older, some of the money you have must be in a place to give you that income that you don't have to worry about as you get older. If you want to picture a speedometer goes up and down as you press the gas and let the gas off. If you could get a speedometer or a car that would go in one speed at all times, that's income planning, making sure you have that financial cruise control that'll keep you going to and through retirement. Now, a tachometer is that other gauge that's in a lot of cars that shows you the revolutions per minute that your car's engine is going. And if you have too much risk, you'll notice the financial tachometer bending over to the red part of the gauge, and that's not good. So if you get close to the financial red zone, which we look at, anyone 55 and older is in the financial red zone. You're getting close to retirement, or you may even be retired. So it's vitally important that you have that money tachometer attached to your accounts. Financial cruise control is just looking at the assets you have now, taking some and putting them in a place that you will have income regardless of what happens in the market. That's why we tie that in with a laddered strategy, because if all your money is tied to the market, when the market goes the wrong way, your future income suffers. So the opinion here is take some money off the table each and every year from the risk world, put it into a laddered income strategy so that as you get into retirement and further through retirement, that your money is always going up, it's always coming in, and you never have to worry about what's going to happen if the market goes the other way. Laddering your money, getting a proper laddering strategy, will give you that peace of mind knowing that you have money to and through retirement, and you never depend on the market's ups and downs to get you what you need to get in the future. Wow, we're here at the end of the show again. I thought we just started. That's how fast life goes. And folks, you can call a financial timeout, get your accounts on retirement autopilot, making sure you're doing the right things for your portfolio. Call the number you see on your screen, and we look forward to seeing you next week on the Financial Safari.
Information provided is for illustrative purposes only and does not constitute investment, tax, or legal advice. Information has been obtained from sources that are deemed to be reliable, but their accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed. Neither Peter J. D'Arruda or his guests are liable for the usage of information discussed. Always consult with a qualified investment, legal, or tax professional before taking any action. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Individuals should thoroughly review the contract for specific details of the product features and costs. Income payments and withdrawals from deferred annuities are generally taxable as ordinary income in the year they are taken.